my special podcast.
What is it about, Halloween?
Nope, way better than that. I promise you'll want to hear about this one.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our podcast. I'm Joyful, and I hope this week's been treating you well. So, October is here, a new month of fresh spirit. But October also means something really important, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And that's exactly why today we're diving into a topic we don't hear often, breast cancer angiogenesis. Angiogenesis is one of the cancer's hidden tricks, hijacking our blood vessels to grow and spread. If you've ever followed stories from Night Birdies in America's Got Talent, you will know that breast cancer is actually more than statistics. It's about real people, real lives, and real resilience. So, without further ado, I'm so excited to be joined here today by my friend Fishley and our special guest here, Dr. Almitra Rindyarti, PhD, an expert in pediatric hemato-oncology.
Well, yes, welcome to the podcast, Miss.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here today and talk about a really interesting stuff, which is breast cancer and also angiogenesis, right?
Right, so now everyone's here about cancer. First, what exactly cancer is, Miss? And how is it differ with tumor?
Okay, so when we talk about the tumor, it's actually a more general term on uncontrolled growth of cells, right? So it's like a lump. So all of the lump you see could be a tumor. But we call it as a cancer when it becomes aggressive and also invasive.
Okay, right. So is it only divided by stages, like for example, stage 1, stage 2, 3, or even stage 4?
Yeah, right, because I've also heard about term of triple negative or HER2 positive breast cancer. What does those mean exactly, Miss?
Okay, so actually staging is a doctor's way to differentiate the progress of breast cancer itself. Like stage 1 is the smallest one, while stage 4 is already big with metastasis. So it depends on the size and invasiveness to the nodes and also metastasis status. But of course, yes, we need to characterize the cancer cells itself. That's why you have different classifications, depends on the receptor itself. So like you say, yes, we have like HER2 positive breast cancer, which is where the cancer cells is positive with HER2 receptor. We also have hormone receptor positive breast cancer, which is can be positive with the estrogens or progesterone receptor, or it could be doesn't have any of that receptor, which we call as TNBC or triple negative breast cancer.
Okay, so there are a lot of terms, HER2 positive, HR plus, and also triple negative. Miss also mentioned about aggressive. So does aggressive more likely to spread and come back after the treatment?
Okay, so actually, by the way we characterize the breast cancer, which is depends on the receptor, it's also quite an easy way to define the characteristic because if you know, TNBC breast cancer is the most aggressive one, whereas the hormone receptive breast cancer are usually not that aggressive. So in terms of aggressiveness, we talk about how fast it can grow and how easy it can be invasive towards the surroundings.
Right. So is that aggressive tied to the hallmark you mentioned earlier? Like hallmark is a special characteristic of the cancer, right?
Yes, so hallmark is like a cancer's toolkit, so a special characteristic of the cancer that allow them to survive, to grow, and of course to spread, including the topic that we're talking about today, which is angiogenesis. It's also one of the important hallmark of the cancer.
Right, so angiogenesis is one of those hallmarks, yeah, Miss. But can you explain what angiogenesis actually is?
Okay, so only by looking at the language itself, it comes from the Greek language. Angio is a blood vessel and genesis is a creation. So basically angiogenesis means formations of new blood vessels.
Oh, so but our body actually does need angiogenesis, right, Miss? treatments like for healing wounds or when menstrual comes. But how does this angiogenesis look so normal but also helping cancer?
Yeah, okay, so the clue over here is where does the angiogenesis happen? So, of course, angiogenesis is important for our normal physiological process that you already mentioned. But it will be a problem if the cancer cell hijack it to gain power to spread and to grow.
So the cancer cells want to hijack it for spreading.
Yes, that's true. So you know that, of course, all of the cancers start small, right? But again, you need to remember cancer cell is a bunch of cells that doesn't want to follow any rule set by your body. They only want to grow, grow, and grow. So in order to do that, of course, you need what? Nutrition and also oxygens. And you know that who brings it? It's of course the blood cells, right? So angiogenesis is way of the cancer cells to obtain more and more source of nutrition and oxygens.
So how do they actually do that, Miss?
So the tumor cells and also the microenvironment surrounding that can activate a specific signal that can tell your body to create a new blood vessel. It's mainly done by a protein that's called VEGF. Have you ever heard about this?
VEGF?
Yes.
Is that because vascular means blood vessels, Miss?
Yes, that's correct. And how about the E?
It's endothelial.
Yes.
It's the type of the cells that line those the blood vessels.
Okay, so 100 for both of you. So VEGF is basically vascular endothelial growth factor. So growth factor that help creating a vascular endothelial cells.
But how does this connect back to breast cancer specifically, Miss?
Okay, so again, let's back to the basic again. So breast cancer is included one of the cancers, right? They want to grow. And if you remember, what is the specific receptor that the breast cancer have? One of them are hormone receptors, right? And the presence of these hormones can also boost the angiogenesis. So yeah, breast cancer is quite sensitive and quite prominent for angiogenesis hallmark.
Right. So estrogen itself can actually promote VEGF signals, Miss.
Yes, that's true. And then if you think about this, so this angiogenesis can is not only leads to the further growth and also aggressiveness of the cancer, but it's create a way of the cancer cell to spread to different places, which we call it as metastasis.
Alright, so angiogenesis isn't just helping the tumor grow, but it's also making metastasis easier.
Yes, yes. And if you think about it, there's another hallmark that is helped by the angiogenesis itself, which is resisting apoptosis.
Okay, so how does that exactly work, Miss?
So actually, because of the angiogenesis, of course, it leads into much presence of nutrition and oxygens, right? So cells have a lot of fuel to grow, and also means that it's harder to starve out the cells. So if it's hard to starve out, of course, it will be harder to kill the cancer cells, so they can resist the apoptosis or the programmed cell death more.
Alright, so basically the cancer cells persistent to live.
Yes, that's true.
Speaking of resistance, this actually reminds me of a real life story, Miss. Do you ever watch American Got Talent? Because one of the singer got a golden buzzer shortly before she passed away from cancer.
Oh yeah, I remember this story. If I'm not wrong, on Night Birdie.
Yeah. Here are the video of her.
If you're lost, we're all a little lost, and it's alright. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. If you're lost, we're all a little lost, and it's alright. Oh, it's alright to be lost sometimes.
And I'm not going to give you a yes. I'm going to give you something else.
Wow, golden buzzer. I remember she also had breast cancer.
Yeah, Miss. Her name name was Jane, but most people know her as a night bird.
And the song was called as It's Okay. It's still one of my favorite songs to this day.
Oh, yeah. I also heard that unfortunately she already passed away.
Yeah.
Because of the cancer, it actually spread to her lungs, spine, and liver.
So metastasis, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, most likely the angiogenesis also play important factors there.
I see. But does angiogenesis is actually found in all breast cancer cases, Miss?
So actually, yes, angiogenesis can be found in all type of the cancer, but the extent of it is different in each type of the cancer. So since, if you remember, cancer do angiogenesis in order to survive, so you can imagine the more aggressive the cancers are, the more fast-growing cancer cells usually are the ones that with more prominent angiogenesis. So back into breast cancer, do you remember what is the most aggressive type of breast cancer? The TNBC.
Triple.
Yes, the
negative.
triple negative. So usually triple negative breast cancer has more prominent angiogenesis than other types. And it's also have been found that this angiogenesis correlate with the survival of the cancer itself.
Oh, so Miss, I'm actually curious. Can a breast cancer patient actually know if their cancer is angiogenic?
Yeah, because the usual diagnostic tool we use is like the mammograms or like the ultrasound or MRI. But can actually these tools detect if there is any angiogenicness?
So these like mammograms, ultrasound, or MRI, basically just to see the extent of the cancer itself. Yeah, but talking about the angiogenesis, actually there's a tool to see the formations of blood vessel by doing the angiography, and it can be used by using like a contrast, imaging with the contrast. But in terms of like a molecular, it's a bit difficult, right? So I think what doctor can do is taking some of the tissue of the breast cancers and then by biopsy, and then see how it looks in the microscope and see if there's an increase of formations of endothelial cells, or they can also stain it to see the expressions of the VEGF or even the receptor itself.
So they check the VEGF redness.
Yes, correct. That's the main marker for angiogenesis.
Alright. So now how about the treatment option, Miss? Can angiogenesis actually be stopped?
So yeah, there's already a FDA approved drug to stop the angiogenesis, which is, if you ever have ever heard about this, is bevacizumab, which is actually an antagonist for VEGF. And also we have different drugs that attack not the VEGF but the receptor of the VEGF that we call as sunitinib, and it can also attack different pathway on the angiogenesis itself, like everolimus and so on. And so currently it's used as one of the treatment of the breast cancer. Although you need to remember this is not the sole treatment for the breast cancer. Of course, you need to attack the cancer cells directly by chemotherapy also.
Oh, so blocking the signal is like intercepting a letter before it reaches the mailbox, while blocking the receptor is like blocking the mailbox, and preventing the signal is like stopping the writer from ever sending the letter.
Wow, I love when the students use a great analogy like that. Yes, so like the letter is the VEGF itself, while the mailbox is the receptor itself. Right, well the other one, which is the everolimus, is basically just stop the productions of the VEGF.
Okay, so how effective are these drugs though, Miss?
So as I mentioned, you know that cancer cells is clever, and then this drug cannot be used as a sole treatment, so not a mono treatment, because sometimes if you attack this angiogenesis, if you attack this pathway, the cancer will create another way to induce angiogenesis. So it's quite hard, yeah. And you also need to remember that cancer hallmark is not only angiogenesis, so you need to think about that also.
I see. So VEGF isn't only for cancer, but our normal blood vessels actually need it too.
Yeah, too much VEGF it's tumor, but too little also disrupt healthy vessels, right?
Yes, so the challenge that we have is here is like the specificity, and again, same with other type of cancer treatment, right? Like chemotherapy, you want to attack cell cancer, but you also want to save the normal cells. Same with this one. For angiogenesis, you want to stop the cancer angiogenesis, but you don't want that to affect like the normal angiogenesis and creating side effect for the normal other organs in your body.
Okay, so we've discussed about the treatment option, Miss. But now, how about the prevention? We've always linked smoking to lung cancer. It is anything specific for breast cancer?
So for breast cancer, yeah, the prevention is more about like a general lifestyle. So like avoid smoking, so same like the lung cancer, yeah. It also works for breast cancer. Also keep a healthy diet and also exercise regularly. And this prevention is also an important part of the research. Do you know that the researchers are currently also studying food that might actually can naturally slow down the angiogenesis?
Wow, food instead of drugs, yeah. That's interesting. So what food are we talking about, Miss?
Okay, so food high in antioxidant, like do you know like green tea, berries, and also curcumin?
Yeah. Wow, no way, green tea? With the whole matcha craze, that's actually perfect timing. I really love strawberry matcha latte, so I'm technically drinking both green tea and berries, please. Does that mean that I'm preventing angiogenesis?
Yeah, hopefully so, yeah.
Okay, so earlier we've also read some paper, and it said that the key ingredients in green tea is actually EGCG, and in berries is anthocyanins, and in curcumins has strong inflammatory effects. So they've all shown promise in blocking angiogenesis signals and slowing down the multiplication of endothelial cells. But remember, much of this research is still in cells, so not full human trials, and too much of anything is always never been good.
Right. So a balanced diet, plenty of fruits and veggies, right, Miss? Got it.
Right, so what a journey today. We have discussed about the angiogenesis, how it connects with breast cancer, and also about the therapies, prevention, and of course the Nightbird's inspiring stories. So, Miss, for the final conclusion, do you have anything to say to the audience here who are currently watching this video?
Okay, so as I already mentioned, angiogenesis could be a double-edged sword because it's also important in your normal physiology, body functions, but the problem arises when it happens in cancer. So the homework here as a researcher is how to tackle it in more specific way. So like you already mentioned, a lot of research are still in the cell or in vitro level and not go until the clinical trial. So I think there's still a lot of room for research. Either it's a prevention or a safer treatment for angiogenesis. So hopefully if we can target it, it can help us on one-way step towards the cure of the cancer.
Well, that actually would be incredible news, right, Miss? So thank you very much, Miss, for your time and sharing your insight with us today.
And of course, thank you to everyone who listening. Always remember that learning about angiogenesis is not just about science, but it's also giving a new hopes for new insights, better treatments, and also longer lives for brighter tomorrows.
That's right, so let's stay curious, keep the conversation alive, stay supportive, and keep believing that one day, together, we can and we will outsmart cancer. So, until next time, everyone!
It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. If you're lost, we're all a little lost, and it's alright. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay.